Tennessee fans, welcome our first spring practice breakdown of the Volunteers. I've been doing a lot of these for other teams, but I've got to show you guys some love because during the SEC season, you guys actually had the most views per video. So let's freaking go, Vol Nation. You got the NICO era underway. A lot of you wanted him to be the starter last season, including me. I was calling for him to be the starter before the season began. I'm going to talk a little bit about the backups as well. You know, that first ball was actually to Thornton, number one. Him and Squirrel White, of course, are going to be, the two big targets for this offense next season. That's always good to have Squirrel back. And you take a look at this backup quarterback battle. Gaston Moore, of course, a fan favorite amongst Tennessee Volunteer fans. You see, obviously, Josh Heupel. It's going to be a key decision who his top backup is going to be, next year. Obviously, Heupel has mostly had at Tennessee good health from his quarterbacks outside of course, the injury that happened to Hendon Hooker. So you never really know what's going to happen at that quarterback position. You got to have a good backup situation. And I would guess Moore would be your top backup. So, yeah, it should be a very interesting season when it comes to that. Now, I believe this is the transfer, Chris Harrell from Tulane. So let's see this rep. This one kind of got strange. You see Tennessee do a lot of reps like this. These exactly how they do it in the game. And that's something I'm going to bring up a little bit later. How Tennessee runs their drills is amazingly efficient. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, obviously the patented fake to the left, look left, but you're actually going right the entire time. That's what they do. And you'll see this rep. You can see Harrell here is already off balance. Okay, and then the second thing he does is leaves his feet when he doesn't have to. See a lot of receivers make this mistake, and then obviously he bobbles it. The ball wasn't in the best location either, but he is eventually able to make the catch. Obviously, he comes in from Tulane, had 44 catches last year. He's entering that year 3 season, which is a pivotal year for most players, okay? And then we get to Jake Merklinger, the true freshman. This rep gets cut off. We'll talk a little bit more about Jake coming up, but this is obviously the most hyped Tennessee player currently at spring practice, the LSU transfer, Lance Hurd. So I've actually interviewed Lance, me having a pretty large LSU background. He's a very interesting player, and he would start for LSU most seasons, but LSU returns 2 offensive tackles that were in the PFF top 10, so I could see why he wanted to go play for another great offense and actually have his opportunity to start and play next year. So I totally understood why he made that move. Of course, there are some other reasons mixed in there as well. Lance is unfreaking believably strong and gifted. He is a very interesting player. I am going to be interested to see him as a full-time starter. Last year, he was a spot starter for LSU. So you guys let me know what you think of Lance. All right, so one thing I kind of like about Tennessee's practices is they move frequently between indoor and outdoor scenarios, right? Because that's how it is. You play on some grass surfaces. You play also on some turf surfaces. You also play in some indoor and outdoor areas. And this player is actually the guy, I think, that has the biggest year ahead of him. It's James Pearce. A lot of you are familiar with him. The pass rusher, had an amazing bowl game, had a pick 6 in the bowl game. You don't see that too often. And I want you to take a look at this drill in particular. There's something that Tennessee does in this drill that I actually like a lot. But I will tell you this. I've seen a tweet from Pro Football Focus. He is going to be in the first round of a lot of mock drafts. So I know he had, like a speeding something mixed in there. If he stays the course and has the season he had last year, man, there is no doubt in my mind he could be a first-round pick next year because he does have a gift when it comes to bending the edge as a pass rusher. The question is going to be, can Tennessee find someone else to step up and be a pass rusher? Last year you lose Tyler Barron. He was that opposing, pass rusher for you. A lot of the great defensive lines, no matter the level you play, they have at least two good pass rushers on it, right? So can he be the guy on a front alongside Pearce that could create havoc on 3rd and long? All right, so you get this same drill, but this time it's the defensive backs working on it. And, of course, as many of you know, this defense under Coach Banks, they love to blitz off the edge. So you got to be used to, seeing the football and firing off. Sometimes you can't see the football. You just got to go off motion. But still, you want to get those reps. There is a team in the SEC who does their defensive line drills the opposite, right? Where they are going off of when the coach says hit or hut or whatever it may be. I am a huge proponent of this, okay? And once again, I was not a high-level player by any stretch of the imagination, but when I played, I was a pass rusher, and I really do believe my coach using this device is really what helped mold me into the player I am today, because a lot of teams I see practice does not use a ball. Now, why is that a huge difference? Well, I'm not playing the audio. I don't know the coach's name, but I want to shout him out. He doesn't just say hit. He will go hut, and then actually pull the ball. And that way it gets your players used to looking at the ball instead of going on go. In the top right corner of your screen, there's a video that I did on another team in the SEC who does it the opposite way. They just have a coach who says go or hit. That's just not how it is in the game, right? The offense controls when the football is snapped. If I, as a defender, know that I'm just going to go on hit, that takes away the most important part of being a defensive lineman, which is your get off, right? It actually ruins your get off. Your get off is so key as a DL. And a key to a good get off is reacting to when that football is snapped or reacting to actual motion, right? If you just say hit, it obviously, takes away that. It allows you just to anticipate every snap. So once again, I want to show some love to Josh Heupel. These teams have all these different analysts, and I don't know what the point of the referee uniforms are. I'm guessing they become the refs during the actual scrimmage portion of practice. But these ball guys are put to work, right? And this obviously is a ball security drill. You keep two hands on the football. That's just lifelike, right? Quarterback pockets, I see a lot of teams just, when they do QB drills, they don't do, the ball security stuff. You got to have it, right? So can Moore hold off Merklinger, hopefully I'm saying that right, the 6'3" true freshman as the top backup? I know Tennessee fans are going to be rooting for Gaston Moore to be that guy, right? He's, been through thick and thin through this program. And you see, Merklinger actually got caught here with the ball security here at the end. And by then, how many times you could be able to, regrip and then actually throw? I don't know. I guess I've not watched enough of Merklinger. Can he be a true freshman? The second consecutive year your top backup is a true freshman? I don't know. But obviously this is Nico's team, and we'll see how it works out. And you see Nico actually lose a football here. That's obviously good stuff. How many times will a defensive lineman have that clean of a strip towards the football? Not a whole lot, but it's good to, over practice this because it is the most important thing. Strip sacks absolutely positively kill drives and can kill teams. But One thing that's kind of been slept on this offseason for Tennessee is the wide receiver room. This is a rare instance where you're bringing back Squirrel White, who was freaking great last year. Now, was he in the upper tier of SEC wide receivers, or Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr.'s of the world, the Luther Burdens? No, but he was still pretty good, right? Obviously, the big catch versus Alabama to get that game going, and so on and so on. So you get him back, and there he is in the background. You know he's good. You also got this very interesting player coming in from Tulane, Brazel. There's a drop right there after the practice rep from earlier, but he's got 44 catches of Division I experience. And then you also got Brew McCoy. He's going to be healthy and ready to go. Obviously, a really banged up year. I mean, this is a 5-star recruit who will be a redshirt senior. So athletically, he is just going to tower over people. And then, of course, you got the wild card in all of this, Thornton. Had the big catch versus Missouri, a really, really, really difficult catch. So, yeah, I mean, this wide receiver group might be a little slept on, as crazy as that sounds. I think Tennessee fans know they're pretty good, but there were times last year where it was clear that, Tillman gone, Hyatt gone, maybe all those players take another leap to where one of those receivers potentially could be a first or second round pick. Wide receivers are taken, pretty heavily now in the early rounds of drafts. So there you go. This is the OC. I remember him being a backup quarterback at Oklahoma. His name slips my mind. But there you go. So let me know what you guys think of this practice breakdown. I love looking at the behind the scenes. There's old Dylan Sampson right there. He's going to be the guy next year. So let's do it. Let's go. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. And tonight we are doing some chicken and beef stir fry. Let's go.